Hey guys, so I just got back from the cheap theater from seeing the movie Bad Words. But before I get into that review, I want us to send a big thank you to anybody who's watched my Raid 2 review. As of right now, it stands as my second most watched video on YouTube. It's gonna easily become probably my most watched video on YouTube in the next couple of days. It like the views just keep accelerating like each day. It's ridiculous. Like within having posted a video within 2 hours, I had 80 views. Within one day, I had like 300 views. It was really insane. I mean, that was pretty crazy for me, and I thank everybody who watched that video. And I also want to say I'm sure I've said this a couple times, but um, if you post anything on a comment on any of my videos, I do read them, even if I don't respond to them. Half the time, I just don't have the time to respond to everybody. I've had a few of my subscribers respond to me, and then I never answer them, and I apologize. I appreciate everybody that's subscribed to me. Um, but yeah, I I'm kind of figuring that maybe I need to start posting reviews of more less known films uh, more often than not. Because, like I said, Raid 2 is now my second most watched video, and that over here in the United States, the Raid 2 is not a really well known film. I'm sure half the viewers of my review for that movie were probably from a different country. I live in the States, United States, and the movie stands, I think, opened this weekend at number 11, so that should tell you how well it's doing. Um, and that's a shame because I want to, I think movies like that should, get the chance to make more money than that. But yeah, thank you to everybody who's watched that video. I I really appreciate it. It was pretty cool. Did not expect that kind of viewership for that movie. I was surprised I was going to even get any views for that movie review. That's amazing to me. Thank you guys. But let's go on to my review. Um, Bad Words. The movie Bad Words. Going into this movie, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know too much going in because I didn't get any trailers for this movie in front of any movie I saw over the past few months. I've gotten commercials for this movie like nonstop on TV, and that's the only reason I knew about this movie. And it didn't actually come to the main theater that movies usually go to. It just came right to the cheap theater for some reason. It was really weird. The cheap theater has been doing that a lot lately, like putting movies that for some reason don't go over to the main theater, but somehow the cheap theater gets them. It's really weird. It's very random what movies we get and what movies we don't get. It's really weird. Like I said, it was really weird that we got Raid 2. I'm still surprised by that. We got that movie. Um, with Bad Words, from what I saw in the commercials, looked funny. And I did get a chance to watch the full trailer for this movie before I saw this film. And it definitely looked very funny. It looked like Jason Bateman was going to be a lot of fun. I thought the concept for it was a pretty funny idea. Even though it was a little absurd, yeah. Uh, but for most comedies, I can accept that. There has to be a little level of absurdity in some comedies. I'm fine with that. Um, and you know what? Yeah, I thought this movie was pretty funny. I thought it was. It's definitely a pretty solid comedy, and it's also an interesting this movie is not only stars Jason Bateman, but also is directed by him. And honestly, after I saw this movie, I was like, I want to see more movies, him direct more comedies. I think he is a pretty solid comedy director on top of being a really great comedic actor. Jason Bateman in this movie is great. He's fucking phenomenal. He steals the movie. There's some the humor in this movie is what's the word? kind of hate-filled comedy. It's mean-spirited comedy, kind of. And a lot of the mean-spirited jokes come from Jason Bateman. And Jason Bateman delivers them so fucking great. He's very funny in this movie. I particularly like the scenes where he was trying to intimidate his fellow spelling bee contestants that he was sitting next to. Like, my favorite in particular was the one where he told a girl next to him that he found her hair clip sitting down next to him, and that maybe she should try to go find it. And so she went to bend down and look for it. While she was bending down, he took a ketchup packet and poured ketchup on her seat, so that when she sat down, she had ketchup on her butt, basically. And of course, he tells her, because she's a prepubescent girl, he tells her, "Oh, it looks like it's that you're finally becoming a woman." He makes it look like she's having her period, and she thinks she's having her period, and she ends up quitting the spelling bee because she's so embarrassed because she thinks that there's a period stain on the back of her pants. That was pretty funny. I mean, I was like, that's the kind of humor that you get in this movie. And also, at one point, he tells the kid he steals the panties of the reporter that he's been sleeping with, and he tells the kid next to him that he was sleeping with his mom, and this is if he could please give his mom her panties back. That was pretty funny. I like that kind of. It was well done. It was delivered well by Jason Bateman. He was very funny in this movie. I have any time of day for him. He's a very funny actor. I also really like that kid. I thought that kid was really funny in this movie. The Indian kid. I swear I've seen him in something before. I'm sure he's been in something else. Looks familiar. This kid was really funny. I liked the interactions between him and Jason Bateman. The kid wasn't annoying. It was pretty adorable, honestly. And the interactions between him and Jason Bateman are great. It was like when I kind of thought about like when with Jackass Bad Grandpa came out back in October. Kind of reminded me of that. Like kind of like that the chemistry between Johnny Knoxville and the kid. I think Jason Bateman and this kid have just as good chemistry. I think they're very funny together. They were really great. The kid, I liked the kid. He was very funny. He had some pretty funny lines, and it's a gamble with kid actors half the time because sometimes they can be really fucking annoying or they can be really good. And this one is a really good, solid kid actor. I thought he was very funny, and his line delivery was pretty funny. And he wasn't annoying or anything like that. I also liked who was it? Who was the reporter? The reporter that follows Jason Bateman around. I forget her name. Somebody can tell me in the comments, but she was very good in this too. I particularly liked the sex scenes between her and Jason Bateman. That were very awkward and very funny. They were very, very awkward. She did not want him to look at her, and every time he would accidentally look at her, she'd say, "Don't look at me!" Like she'd be like, "Oh, don't look at me!" Like it was like so. She was trying to get off on the fact that he wasn't looking at her. It was really weird. It was very funny though. I thought she was very funny in this movie. What else? Allison, who's also got in there? Allison Janney's in here too, very briefly, and I love Allison Janney. She's one of those actresses. She's the head of the spelling bee, and she National Spelling Bee, and she's very funny in this movie. The scenes that she's in. She disappears halfway through the movie, but there's a reason why she does. And really, honestly, there wasn't really any bad comedic performance, and those are the four that I thought stuck out. Really, also I like the, you know, while this movie is predictable as hell, because I could honestly, you could tell how this movie's going to end from the get go. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody that it comes down between Jason Bateman and the kid at the end of the movie in the spelling bee. But I thought it was also really unpredictable in the fact that the whole mystery about this movie is why Jason Bateman is doing what he's doing, and it honestly, I did not see that coming. Like when they explained, I was trying to figure it out like throughout the whole movie. If you don't know the plot, I forgot to mention that because there might be a lot of people who never heard of this movie. I should maybe mention the plot. The plot is Jason Bateman is a 40-year-old man who finds a loophole in the spelling bee, National Spelling Bee, that says anybody who has not passed the 8th grade can enter a spelling bee. So he never got past the 8th grade, and he's in his 40s and decides for some reason to compete in the National Spelling Bee against other kids. And of course, he's beating all these kids and pissing off every parent in the world. It's a really absurd concept. And it's obvious from the beginning. And they say the reporter that's following him wants to get a story out of him and try to figure out why he's doing what he's doing. It's just that's the whole purpose of her in this movie, is that she's trying to figure out why he's competing in these spelling bee competitions. And I was actually kind of generally surprised when you find out who it was or why he was doing what he was doing. I also, honestly, as predictable as the ending is you can predict from a mile away how it's going to end. And like I said, you know it early on that it's going to come down between Jason Bateman and this little Indian kid. And you can pretty much predict how it's going to end, like the competition's going to end. But, like, to get to that point, like, the end scene where it does come down between Jason Bateman and the kid is very funny. Like, the couple twists that they keep throwing in there, like, is pretty funny. Like, it doesn't exactly go the way you think it will, but it's still, the end result is about as predictable as you, if that makes any sense. The end result is predictable. Who wins is predictable, but like, to get to that point, it does throw some twist here and there, and it's kind of fun. I liked the last the last round between the two of them. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm trying to be vague as possible. I don't want to spoil anything how it goes. I guess one complaint I did have with this movie was, am I the only one who thought this movie could have been a little bit longer? A little bit. This movie's like 2 minutes short of an hour and a half, being an hour and a half, and it's a short sit. I mean, it doesn't feel long at all, and it's a very entertaining film. But it felt like there's some scenes missing from this movie, like. There's one point in the movie, Jason Bateman's mad at the kid, and then another point in the movie, like 2 minutes later, he has interactions with the kid, and he wants to be a part of this kid's life. All of a sudden, you're like, how the hell did he come to that conclusion? It just seemed like they just kind of skipped over some things. It felt like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I felt like they maybe skipped over. Like, there might be like a couple bleed scenes that probably should have been left on there, but whatever. And this movie does. I mean, another complaint, I guess. Like I say, you can complain about it being predictable, but honestly, I had no problem with it being predictable. As long as the movie end result is good, I'm not gonna judge it for being, too predictable. Um, as with any comedies, there's a lot of jokes that don't work, in my opinion, and then there's jokes that do. But I thought overall the jokes that worked were more prevalent than the jokes that didn't work. And like I said, this movie was very. I thought this movie was pretty fun. It is a pretty funny concept. I liked. I thought it was pretty. It's definitely gives a chance for Jason Bateman to shine and be in a lead role. Who I love Jason Bateman, and I'm hoping he does more directing. He directs more movies, more comedies. If they're anything like this, I mean, he has a future in being a comedic director, so that's cool. But anyways, I guess that's all I got to talk about with bad words. I won't be back until next Monday, probably, with another review for probably Oculus, I'm going to probably say, because I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. Either that or like something like Draft Day, but I'm probably going to see Oculus. But I will be back not until next Monday because the next day I actually have off is Sunday, and that's obviously Easter. I'm not a religious person, but I have my family, I have my sister and my baby niece coming down to visit during this time, and obviously I want to spend time with my family other than and not have if it comes down between spending time with my family and going to the movies, family comes first. So yeah, unfortunately, but yeah, I'll be back probably by next Monday on next Monday with a review for I guess Oculus. But until then, I will talk to you guys later.